What's up, and welcome to another episode of the Grind Line Podcast. This is episode 57, and I am here with Ryan tonight. Tyler lost his voice or something. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm good. I've had a couple margs tonight at the local Mexican establishment, so let's do this.
Nice, and you're drinking the brand new Mas Agave from Founders.
Oh, we should try to get sponsored by them because I would not be mad about it.
Founders, the beer. Sponsor us, please. I am drinking Roque Brewing Company's French Toast Oatmeal Stout, which Roque was recently purchased Right Brain, which is cool.
Wait, they did?
Yeah, Roque bought Right Brain before last fall.
I didn't know that. That's fantastic because both brands are amazing.
They are both very good, and I've talked to the owners of both. So,
Sponsor, ship,
yeah.
just
Yeah,
saying.
exactly.
Hey. Anyways,
So tonight, yeah, so tonight we've got a couple things to talk about. We are going to talk a little bit about Jared McIsaac and the Halifax Mooseheads, who have been crushing it this playoffs. And McIsaac is actually one of our prospects that I think will probably see a little bit more time in junior. I don't think they're going to throw him right in, but he'll get his year in junior like Rasmussen got his. So we'll talk about McIsaac a little bit. And then we have something that came up kind of Ryan had a tweet about what was 5 years ago, you said?
yeah, very Nostradamus-esque. It was 5 years ago to the day.
Yeah, and then we started doing we connected some dots, and if you've ever seen the picture from Always Sunny with Charlie Day and his wall, and he looks like he hasn't slept in 4 days, and he's got the red yarn going to different spots. That kind of happened on Twitter today, and we'll
In the
give a
most random way because of this tweet. Just
yeah,
it opened Pandora's box pretty much.
yeah, and I think what's his Twitter handle now? He goes by Beer League
I
Champ.
think it's Iserman season is what
It's
he's
like
at right now.
I think it's Iser season.
It's something like that, yeah. Beer
Yeah,
league champ. Never know his name. He's the infamous man behind the sunglasses.
yeah, we'll shout him out, but he kind of helped us connect these dots, and it's a little crazy when we get into it. But I think we're going to start tonight's show with Dylan Larkin's testicles, which are
Duh.
I'm assuming are in super rough shape right now. So if you hadn't seen it, it's all I don't know how you haven't. It's all over the internet. It's all over Twitter. Dylan Larkin took a slap shot to the nutsack during the World Tournament, and it looked extremely painful to
Oh
where
my god.
as soon as he got hit, he collapsed in a heap to the ice,
Oh,
then got to his knees, like physically screaming. Generally, they'll just make a face like, oh my God, I'm hurt. He was screaming, started crawling, hunched, skated over to the bench, and collapsed on the bench floor
multiple times at the on the bench floor.
before hobbling down the
Uh,
hall to the room.
this brings up
So
horrible memories. I apologize for the extra sound effects.
so RIP future Larkins. I don't know what happened. There was the most disturbing part was there was like that whole night and even into the next morning there was absolutely no update. There was
Yeah.
no update until this morning, and everyone like we were waiting with bated breath to find out the future of Dylan Larkin's testes. And I just I feel for the guy because they wear a cup, but a cup doesn't cover everything. It's like a bulletproof vest. You still feel the shot.
It
Like
does enough. I'll put it that way.
I
As a
was it didn't Sammy Sallow get hit and one of his balls like exploded?
I don't know, but I wish everyone could see my face when you said that because it was terrifying to think about. Because oh god, this is the worst conversation to possibly have because
Yeah.
all I can think it brings back the memories for me of high school baseball. Now we're going for those that don't know my age, I'm going back about 12, 13 years right now. And it was pitchers and catchers. I was a catcher, and the guy that I was catching for threw about a low to mid 80s fastball, and he threw one low. We were in a gym at the time, and he short hopped one in front of me. So I tried to do the OLA scoop. I was like, yeah, I do it all the time, no big deal. I missed horribly, and what happened? The ball went under my glove and caught my cup square on. I couldn't walk for 10 minutes. And
Yeah.
seeing Larkin get hit the way that he did by a slap shot, equally, if not faster than what I experienced, and with a freaking rubber puck, I have felt his pain literally, and I feel so bad for him and his future children if he can still have them.
And I mean, cup technology may have gone a little further since then, but no
I
one
hope
wants to
so.
see someone get hit in the nuts, and no one wants to see, especially Dylan Larkin, whose voice was probably 3 registers higher after that shot.
Ugh.
Everyone was saying online, like, I wonder how quickly he went down the room just to throw up.
I mean, probably immediately.
But
It
it's
for if you're a guy listening to this and you have not experienced any type of true nut shot, you can't relate to the literal pain that is being dealt here. It's the god awful feeling.
it's bad. I mean, I'm not gonna compare it to like women in
No,
childbirth
no,
or
no. We're not going to go
anything like
down that
that,
rabbit hole. That's a whole separate thing.
but I'm pretty sure a a slap shot to the nuts is the worst pain a man could feel.
I mean, he
And
was wearing a cup, right?
I'm assuming so. He's a professional hockey
You
player.
gotta hope so.
Yeah, unless like it's his good luck
Oh,
like ritual or something. But I mean, it's pretty nuts and gnarly. And I this morning, so there was an update this morning, and this morning the Free Press did an article. Blashill said is quoted saying he is dealing with some pain, but otherwise looks so the quote is wrong. It says he's dealing with some pain, but otherwise looks like okay. Blashill said no definitive word on his status for Thursday yet. So it was bad enough for him to leave and not return to that game, but Blash says he thinks he's going to be fine. Apparently, Blashill, as well as several doctors, have checked out Dylan Larkin's scrotum. But that's just them's the breaks, I guess. It's just I don't know what worse could happen to you during a game. I think he would rather have himself get hit in the mouth and teeth fall out than
yeah.
get hit in the nuts.
Kind of like that famous photo of him like going with the face straight up in the camera.
Oh, his smile, his toothless grin.
The most memed and gift image of any Red Wing player lately.
Yeah, but thoughts and
Uh,
prayers to Dylan
God,
Larkin's nuts, and we
I,
are going to move
I,
forward.
I'm doing a cheers to the sky and a drink on that one because that is fucking brutal.
Yeah, pour one out for Larkin's ball.
I mean, I'm not
Uh,
gonna pour one out of a Moscave.
oh no, expensive beer.
That's
Don't do it.
wasteful. Yeah. Anyways,
So we're gonna move on to Jared McIsaac and the
no more
Halifax
balls.
Mooseheads. No more ball talk. This is hockey. We only talk about pucks.
uh,
So Halifax right now, I believe they're in the finals.
yes. Thank
Uh,
you again. What is his actual Twitter
I don't
handle?
know. Go on
I feel
Twitter. I'm
like
not your
I,
mom.
I'm not. Don't you fucking yell at me right now. Iserman Season, SZN is his
Yeah.
actual handle. For those that care, he spouts. This is a little shout out for him right now. He is incredibly intelligent when it comes to prospects and the Red Wings in general. So he is a great follow if you aren't already following and debating him because he will debate the fuck out of you. I get tired and I can't keep up. Greg can all day. So there you go.
Yep. So Halifax beat Guelph. They're actually in the semifinals.
Okay.
Yep. So they beat Guelph to go into the semifinals. So I just can't keep up with all these freaking different leagues. It like drives me insane. But
If I was paid to do it, I would.
yeah, well, yeah, give me, I'll do it. So the Moose
um,
are looking good, and Jared McIsaac is one of their. I'll call him a quarterback. He's a quarterback. He's a defenseman who is on the power plays, on the penalty kill. In the regular season, he had 62 points in 53 games, which for a defenseman in the queue, I mean it's a high scoring
scoring
league,
league, yes, but
but
still,
exactly.
defenseman.
And in 22 playoff games, he has 16 points, 2 goals, 14 assists. So he's playing against some really good competition because they're in the playoffs, and he's putting up numbers. So he did sign his ELC. If you don't remember who he is, he's a defenseman. He's 6'1", 192. He was our 2018 round 2 draft pick at 36. I believe he was also the first defenseman we took
Hmm.
last year's draft. But he did sign his entry level contract recently, but he still will probably spend next year in juniors because he only has 3 years in the CHL and he's under 20.
He is not like a Valino for those that are curious. Valino already has his 4 years because he got the exceptional status, so he is eligible for the AHL next season. which is fantastic. So I just wanted to throw the asterisk clarifier out there.
Yeah, so Jerry McIsaac he'll go back. He has two choices. It's either the go back to Halifax and be a leader. Right now, he's an alternate captain. So he could probably go back, captain that team next season, and then come over to the Red Wings or Grand Rapids. At that point, I would think it's probably most likely the Wings. Or they could do with the Rasmussen treatment instead of leaving him in for his final year in the CHL, bring him onto the Red Wings, let him, I guess, floor or struggle. Rasmussen, I believe, struggled quite a bit, kind of because he was misused, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole discussion.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll do that with McIsaac. I think they'll it's Iserman now. I think he'll leave him in juniors for a year, let him go through that, bring him up probably to Grand Rapids for a little bit, and then come in after that.
So I think McIsaac, for all the bullshit of log jams, if you will, I think
Yep.
he is the type of guy that benefits the most in this situation
Yeah. No, I agree.
because he doesn't need to get forced into it. Rasmussen, in his situation, kind of like to your point, kind of got forced into a situation because they were hoping for a guy that was going to score. He wasn't put into that position. But McIsaac, he can wait that year and they can slide his contract for one, and then he can come into a brand new, likely brand new looking defensive core after this coming season and try to make the team for one. If not, goes to the AHL for a year, and then we still can. The Wings can still work with him for 2 years on an ELC, and then work with him as an RFA from there, depending on how he does. So he is a project that I think, kind of like to what you were saying, is one of the brighter spots to work with, especially in the back end.
Yeah, and I think he's also one of those guys that was supposed to go earlier in the draft than where we drafted him at. I think McIsaac at one point was projected as a mid first round pick around 15, 16.
Was he really?
I think so. But then he ended up slipping down, and we were lucky to get Veleno and then McIsaac
Hmm.
and then Bergeron, who
Yeah.
hopefully comes back strong from his back surgery.
Weren't all those picks like the 30, 32,
They were
36?
all
Is that what
really,
it
yeah,
was? Something like
real
that?
clumped together, which is good. And we almost have that situation again this season with
Hmm.
3 second-round picks. But I'm hoping maybe we can package a couple of those to move back into the first round lower. And a lot of people are saying I'll go after Spencer Knight, who's the top-rated goalie prospect. But I think it's pretty evident by signing Larkin right after he was done to his ELC that he's probably going to be the goaltender of the future, and they're going to have to try him out
Right.
probably next season because he should be Grand Rapids goalie next season.
Well, I mean, they're bringing back. Well, is there any word on who they're bringing back for sure? I know I'm gonna go assume Rybar, but probably not Sateri, right?
Well, Rybar and Sateri are both on contract years, so they'll have to dump one. Now, here's the thing: they might have to let both of them go because
Let's
you've
see.
also got Caden
Sateri's the
Fulcher.
UFA and Rybar's RFA. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Finish your point there.
Yeah, they've also got Caden Fulcher who has played pretty well, I would say.
Hmm.
Toledo's in. Are they? They're still in the playoffs.
Yeah, they were last I saw. They're winning right now against Tulsa.
So Toledo is currently playing. They're in Game 7, up 3-1 on the Tulsa Oilers.
It was about 10 to 15 to go or something like that.
Yeah. So and Caden Fulcher has been really good. Pat Nagel is their goalie. Pat Nagel used to play for the Fort Wayne Comets, and the only reason I know that is because I went to a Fort Wayne game because my friend lives there.
Oh, okay.
But I think Pat Nagel also at one point played for the Griffins.
I want to say you're correct, but I
If
don't want to assume.
and that's digging deep into my random hockey knowledge. It just sometimes names stick out to you, and you can't let them go. And you hear you go, oh yeah, this person played for this team, this team, this team, and that team. Oh yeah, he played for the Griffins in
Fort
2014,
Wayne, he played
2015.
for Lake Erie Monsters for a short while. He played, wow, he jumped around in 14, 15. Lake Erie, so that's the Columbus Blue
Yep.
Jackets. The Rochester Americans on a loan. Who do they fall under?
Are they the Rangers?
I think so. And then he had the Griffins for 2 games, and then he didn't
Utica
really play.
Comets, which
No,
is
he
Vancouver.
played 2 games for Grand Rapids.
Yeah,
That was it.
and then one game for Utica, which Utica
Wow.
is Vancouver.
Majority of his time was spent with Fort Wayne, and it looks like he tried to do a jump from EC to AHL and it didn't work out very well.
Yeah, but you guys did see Fulcher in one game with the Wings this season, which of course, I mean, it's his game, one game in the NHL. He's not going to look fantastic. He did have a 4.41 goals against and a 81% save percentage, but I mean, he's a fresh guy. I mean, he's not going to get a ton of playing time yet, but I think Pat Nagel, this might be his last year. Caden Fulcher will either step in as the goaltender for Toledo or he'll go to Grand Rapids
Hmm.
and become the backup behind Larson. And then you trade Rybar or you let him go, which I don't know if I would. He's been playing well in the Worlds.
I think you got to tender Rybar and go from there and see what happens because who knows what could happen with Bernier. Jimmy is getting older, so you have a guy that you know is going to be solid to an extent. I mean,
Hmm.
Sateri you can let walk because he's 29 years old. Rybar is a restricted guy at 25. So if you hold on to Rybar, Larson, and Fulcher, and then have them rotating through at the AHL level, I don't think you can really go wrong there.
No, I don't think you can either, but pretty soon they're going to have. I think the point is pretty soon they're going to have to figure out what they want to do with goalies
Yeah, I mean,
because
we're not. Who's the other one we're not even talking about? There's Petra
Keith
Zuli.
Keith Petruzzelli,
Is that Zuli or Zelli?
Petruzzelli.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, Keith Petruzzelli is the other one. He hasn't gotten a lot of playing time because the other two goalies in the Quinnipiac system are like they're the best goalies in the league that they're in, and they both got signed to NHL contracts. So that leaves just him. So next year you can go back to Quinnipiac, take that starting goaltender role, and run with it. And
ECAC hockey is the
yeah,
division they're a part of,
yeah.
or
So
Division One.
so he can go there, take over as the starting goaltender, and see what happens. And then we even the other one is Jesper Eliasson,
Mm-hmm.
and he has been doing pretty well where he's at too. So
Is he an unsigned currently?
I believe
I think
so.
both of them are unsigned because looking at cap friendly, the only non-roster goalies they have on as a contract right now, not including Sateri and Rybar, are Larson and Fulcher, and they're both signed to their restricted free agent tags
Yeah,
or entry level contracts, if you will.
yeah. So Jesper Eliasson is the other one. He is playing in right now. He is playing on loan. Well, he didn't really even play. So he played for the Vaxo Lakers in the Super Elite. He played 33 games. He had a 2.43 goals against with a 919 save percentage. He was our third round pick, number 84, last year, and I mean, he seems like he could be a good sleeper goalie. He played 2 games in the under 19 for Sweden and had 2 goals against and a 92% save percentage. And he played 2 games in the under 20 for Sweden and had a 1 goal against and a 96% save percentage. So he's the other one that I think might be a good sleeper goalie. But the thing is you pick up goalies every year, and the Red Wings have been pretty bad lately at drafting goalies.
Yes,
Uh,
and I mean, I guess it depends on who you talk to about a guy like Mrazek, but we're not going
Jared
to go into that.
Coro,
Well, Coro, who's the other one we talked about recently?
Jake Patterson.
Is it Patterson? Is that who I'm thinking of? Yeah,
Patterson's one of them. I mean, the Red Wings have had some bad
yeah.
goalie
It's
picks.
yes, you're right, and that is absolutely true. Mrazek has been their most recent. Oh shit, this guy could be something, but then he would shit himself and not do something, and but then do great things, and people get excited, and then he wouldn't again, and there was no in between. It was either great at the peak or the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no two, like right now, Patterson, apparently it says his current team is the Toledo Walleye. I don't think that's
Is he?
correct. I don't think so.
I don't think it is either.
No, right now he is playing for the Brampton Beast in the ECHL.
So he's on a team that's like the Walleye, but not the Walleye.
No, and he's 25. So I don't, and he was a 2000 third round pick in 2012. That
Mm,
is not going to pan out.
I'm sorry. I mean, he sounded great at first, but no.
Who was the other goalie?
Tommy McCullum,
Yes, Tom McCollum was the other one, and God,
2008, round one, number 30 overall.
wanted, and people wanted to like him so much, and it didn't happen. I don't even think he got into any Red Wings games.
3 games played, 1 win, 879 save percentage, 298 goals against.
Yeah, and that reminds me a lot of Jared Coro. So
Mm-hmm. I think Coro is probably the biggest disappointment.
yeah, and he showed some the first couple games were like, yeah, this guy can do it, and then he
Mm-hmm.
kept going, and it kept getting worse and worse, and we're like,
Which was,
when's this gonna end?
yeah, I mean, that was the disappointing part because he looked as good as he did in Grand Rapids, which I don't have his stats in front of me, but I know to an extent that he was performing the way you would hope a prospect goalie would. And then when he came to Detroit, it just didn't connect. Like the lateral movement wasn't there. It just like he collapsed, and it was, to me, it was incredibly surprising because I know many people were bitching and moaning about bringing up a goaltender at the time, and when Jimmy went down, he was like, "We got Mrazek and Coro, we're good," and then we weren't good.
No, we weren't. We were in fact bad.
Goalie is still a tender subject overall. I
Yeah.
think that is the Cliff Notes version of all the bullshit we just spewed.
So somehow we went from Jared McIsaac being really good defensive prospect into wow, we've drafted some really bad goalies lately.
We really have.
So I think this will take us to our last segment of the night, which is and I'm gonna actually let Ryan set this one up because it was almost his discovery, which started with a tweet from 5 years ago.
Not a good discovery. Not a good one at all.
No, bad discovery.
All right. On May 22nd, 2014, from the Twitter handle RDRyan33. Quote, I love the way Abby plays sometimes, but damn, he's going to cost Wings in the future if this keeps up. ... It's not good. Here we are,
In
5 years later.
2019.
It's fucking true. May 22nd, 2014 is when I sent that tweet out. Not little did I know how true that thing would come to this day, and it friggin' sucks.
It does, but it gets deeper.
Are we going into the black hole that was the tweet
Oh
responses
yeah.
now?
Oh
Do you
yeah.
want to go ahead and lead with that? You and Iserman season were having way too much enjoyment from it, and by enjoyment I mean pain with me.
Yeah, it was kind of a shared pain.
I think I upset a lot of people with this tweet actually.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I mean, it was a known fact. What you
Upset
said.
and up when I say upset, I mean it was a realization of, oh shit, you're right. God damn it. Basically.
So, what happened is, and you can go back and see this Twitter thread from earlier today. We kind of were saying like, Abdelkader is probably the worst current player that has won a Stanley Cup technically. We came to the conclusion that his name is not on the Stanley Cup, but he has a ring and there's a picture of him skating around with it. So he's a fraud and
He
also bad
he
at
he,
hockey.
he was a press box junkie.
Yeah, he played 2 regular season games that season and 0 playoff games. And but he's got a picture. He got dressed, went on the ice, and got a picture of him skating around with the cup. He didn't play at all in the
Nope,
playoffs.
not once. He was called up because Thomas Kopecky, if you say that right, got hurt. So he was the extra forward for the Wings.
Beer League Chump says he is a literal curse. The Wings lost in the finals in his first full year and haven't been back yet. Just called the Abdul curse. To which Ryan responds,
God,
"Holy shit, you're right. Holy shit."
that's a quote, direct quote right there.
Yes. So the Red Wings have not made a Stanley Cup final
Can we mention the GIF that I used with that because I feel like it's entirely fitting for
Oh,
the
the crying
conversation.
kid from
The
Northwestern.
Northwestern crying kid where he's like, "Oh my god," hands up to the top of the head,
Yeah,
like in ball mode.
yeah. So,
Yeah, there you go. Now you have a visual of our pain.
so the Abdul curse is a real thing. The Red Wings have not been back to the Stanley Cup Finals since the 2008-2009 season. The problem with that is that who did we lose to in 2009?
Really? I mean, do you
Yeah.
want to ask this
No,
question right now?
no, we don't. But it's
Fucking Sidney Crosby and the Penguins at home, Game 7. I was in goddamn downtown Detroit watching that game and extremely upset with a girlfriend at the time that didn't know anything about hockey and couldn't realize why I was so upset and distraught at the moment.
yeah. So
Thanks, Greg.
so we're bringing back Ryan's. I'm like a therapist. Ryan's repressed memories,
How's that
but
Hockey
we
Town
have not.
Cafe watching that shit?
Oh, oh man.
Uh-huh.
But we've not been back to the cup final since then. Yes.
Since Abdulkader and I'm assuming you're going
And
there.
the
Guess
big
who else was on
reveal.
that '09 Stanley Cup team with Justin
You know who
Abdulkader?
else played their first playoff game?
The biggest
Jonathan
fucking road cone on this fucking team. I'm sorry,
Jonathan
Greg Krupa. I
Erickson.
said fucking over and over again, but I can't help it.
Jonathan Erickson also played his first
You
playoff game
son of a bitch.
the same season as Justin Advocator. And
Fuck you,
until
beer
we
league champ.
until it's chump.
Is
And
it Chump? Oh, they
yes.
changed it. Oh.
And until we rid ourselves of Justin
Ugh.
Advocator and Jonathan Erickson, the curse will not be lifted. It's like there's some witch in a hut somewhere with a voodoo doll of Christopher Illich. Well, it was Mike Illich's voodoo doll, but now it's Christopher Illich's voodoo doll, sticking pins in it until the Abdicator and Erickson curse is lifted. So I think the right thing for them to do, honestly, the right thing for them to do is to waive Abdicator and buy out Erickson, right?
I mean, in a perfect world, that's what happens.
Because I don't.
Granted, we're in a new world without Ken Holland, so both scenarios are entirely believable at this point, but I'm not going to get excited about any possibilities until it actually happens.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just I can't. When you see those two facts come together, you almost just want to log off.
I
But
did.
it's a realization moment that I don't think a lot of people have connected. Is that we insert two players into the lineup and never make the cup finals again while they're here, and probably won't. I mean, definitely won't make the cup finals while they're still here.
No, not at all. There's no way. I mean, they both ironically, I think you said Advocator played 2 games in the '08 season when they won the cup. Erickson played, I believe, if I remember correctly from when I looked at it, 8 games that season. And then they were both installed for most of, if not full time, the following season when they lost to the Pens in the cup. And
Well, in
it all
2000,
makes,
no, in 2008, 2009,
yeah,
um,
that's what I was referring to when they were both brought in more.
Ablocator had 2 regular season games and 10 playoff games.
He only had 10 playoff games that year.
Well, in 2008, 2009, he played in Grand Rapids for 76 games. So 2008-9, he played 2 regular season games and 10 playoff games.
Who did he come in for in the playoffs?
I don't know. That
Or
doesn't
am I
say
getting
on
my
here.
years of Kopeski getting hurt?
In 2008, 2009, he would have come in. No, because Kopetsky played 79 regular season games and 8 playoff games. So he could have come in for Kopetsky in 2008, 2009. Yeah, well, in 08-09, Erickson played 19 regular season games and 22 playoff games.
That was when the end began.
It was the literal beginning of the end for the Detroit Red Wings, all leading up to this point where they are in a complete rebuild, all because of Erickson and Applicator. And some bad signings by Ken Holland, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, but those two are the most glaring ones still to this day.
Yeah. So thank you, Erickson and Applicator, for having the Red Wings rebuild. And if you would have just not been re-signed, then we probably would be in a better place. But this is all fake stuff. I mean, we don't really believe this. I mean, we believe that they're terrible and that we would probably be a better team if they weren't there.
I mean,
But
yeah.
but we don't believe, and I have to say this for posterity's sake, we don't believe the Red Wings are cursed because of them, but we really do. We really
No, it's the
believe that.
Advil curse.
It is the Abdul curse. We
It's officially the Advil curse
it is
because
it has been dubbed.
you can't hide from it at this point. With there are facts in front of us. We just named them. It's the Advil curse.
We have been presented with a certain set of facts, and those facts point to Justin Abdicator cursing the Detroit Red Wings.
I mean, if someone can come up with a better saying to combine Abdulkader and Erickson together and figure out a proper curse title, looking at you here, Sarah, right now. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
want to
fit.
put it on a T-shirt.
Oh, you should. Speaking
So
of t-shirts, let's go on a side rant here, tangent. Mister getting checked out for fraud right now.
no, it's not fraud. I put
Uh, stealing professional idea or
I
trademarks or whatever you want to call it.
screenshotted I screenshotted a tweet and put it on a shirt, and the NHL said I couldn't do that apparently.
Yeah,
Which
what way to go, trying to
I,
get us banned already.
I mean, they're not. I mean, they don't own the tweets. It doesn't say on their Twitter all these tweets are owned by the NHL. So whatever. Then they reviewed some of our other stuff, and they're like, nope, all this stuff is okay. So what? 1 out of 10 ain't bad.
Yeah, I'll take it. We're still
But
selling. Shirts are still selling, so you're doing all right.
yes. Uh, but yeah, it's the Abdul curse. That is what has been dubbed. Maybe I will make an Abdul
I
curse
think that needs to
T-shirt.
be a shirt. That
Uh,
absolutely needs to be a shirt.
I survived the Abdul curse. Or
Maybe when he's gone, I think that, I mean, you could do it now. It'd be fitting, but
the
yeah.
Abdul curse. Yeah, when he's gone, I'll just make one that says the Abdul curse has been lifted. It was a pretty interesting hole we fell into, and it was too early in the morning to fall into that hole too.
Oh, it happened. It happened way too quick, and then it was just it spiraled down from there.
Yeah, but that was our Twitter fun this morning. That was our Twitter fun. But that's all we have really to talk about tonight. We've got, I mean, the other thing we can touch on is Anthony Mantha's been suspended for 1 game for a head hit on Colin
Oh, is that
White.
official?
Yeah, suspended for
I
one
saw that
game.
coming. Yeah.
It didn't look like he did it on purpose.
No.
He kind of
Oh,
just sideswiped him. The overreaction from all the people online calling Mantha a dirty player and a scumbag have clearly never seen the man play because he doesn't hit anyone like ever. So
Is he aggressive? Yes. Does he intentionally do stuff like that? No.
no, not at all. People are acting like he's freaking Tom Wilson.
The biggest comparison I can see people making is the hit on Giroux, which I still think was a crock of shit. But uh, he's he's like Chara. He's what, 6'4", 6'5".
He's a big guy.
He's giant. Now, in this instance, was his size a determining factor in how the hit was made? No. Colin White was in a vulnerable position already. He was lunging for a puck, and the way the hit came, you watched the way Mantha came in. He tried to adjust his body. It almost looked like he caught an edge, but ended up he drilled him. That's the simplest way to put it. It's an unfortunate hit. It's worthy of a game suspension, but it's not does
It
not
wasn't
speak to
malicious.
how Mantha is as a player.
Yeah, it wasn't malicious. He didn't intend to hurt him. It
No.
was just, yeah, it was just not a good hit. And anytime there's contact to the head like that in the worlds, especially, you're
Yep.
getting suspended. So
Any type of international play, and it's not gonna. I'll say this: it's not something that's gonna overshadow the performance that he had through the preliminary round. And
no,
what he finished with, what, 7 goals and 12 points in the prelims.
yeah, what he's accomplished so far is nothing short of, for him, I would say, spectacular. And
Yeah,
people will say it's on an international stage, so it doesn't really matter because it's
it
not the same.
it does though.
It does, because if you look at previous players who have performed well on an international stage, there has been carryover to the next
Hmm.
season. And he's honestly just performing right now the way that he performed at the end of last season. So,
Yeah, and I big kudos to Max Boltman with the articles that he has had in regards to Mantha's play. For one, being a big size guy, I know his most recent article, I think it was his most recent, talking about Mantha's play, and to your point, how players were in general.
Yep.
from having a huge world championship and then how that carried over to the next season. If that plays out for Mantha, this could be a record year for him, which in a way sucks for the Wings because he's on a contract year. But overall, it's what we as fans want to see. And
It's what we've been hoping. It's what we
yes,
as fans have been like clamoring for because we knew Mantha had the talent. He wasn't drafted where he was drafted because the Wings just felt like it. He was drafted where he was drafted because he showed skill and
yes,
promise, and he's might be a semi late bloomer, but if he can perform at the level in the NHL that he's performing at in the Worlds right now with someone like Kyle Turris. So if one more person tells me that we need to trade for Kyle Turris, I'm gonna be very angry.
we have Dylan Larkin. That's
Yeah,
better,
exactly. And you put him back with Burt and Larkin and let him go. I mean, he can put up 35 goals.
if not
So
more.
yeah, so that's my spiel on Anthony Mantha and his suspension. Dumb play by him, yes. Malicious intent, no.
No.
He'll miss a game and he'll be back for Canada.
Yep.
So Ryan, you got any final thoughts tonight? And then give me your Twitter handle.
Actually, I don't have final thoughts. I will say, actually, I take that back. We didn't talk about the Stanley Cup final, which is upcoming between Boston and St. Louis. I am fully on the Gloria St. Louis bandwagon right now because fuck Boston.
Good call.
But I'm upset that St. Louis didn't get there because that lost us out, at least for now, on a second round pick, upgraded from a third round pick from San Jose. So fuck Boston, go Blues. Twitter handle RDRyan33.
Yeah, we will not be getting that second round pick because there's
No,
no way because how cap strapped San Jose is currently, they're not
like
resigning.
Columbus.
Yeah, they're not resigning Nyquist. And please stop tweeting at us to that we need to re-sign Nyquist because we
No,
don't. There's
I
no
would.
room on the roster for him. He's going to cost too much money. We need to start playing people like Zadina. So,
Yes. Would he be
um,
great? Yes, but we don't need him.
would he be great? Maybe. I
Well,
mean,
great for this roster. Let me put it that way.
good, good, not great. What's
Yes,
great is injecting new talent, but
fact.
that'll be my final thoughts because honestly, I have nothing really else to say except for we do have a shirt design currently on Redbubble, and it's not just on shirts. You can get it on travel mugs, on cups, on clocks, on bags, and clutches, and purses, and dresses, whatever. It is a design that we have made to help out the plight of women's hockey. As you know, a lot of women's hockey players, they make less at the top, even at the top levels, make 2000 around $2,000 a year, which to me is insane. They work second
It's brutal,
jobs.
man.
Yeah, they can't train to the level they need to train to because of the lack of pay. They don't get medical benefits, especially in a sport like hockey. I think it's completely ridiculous that they don't get medical benefits. So we have a design up. Any purchase of that design, part of the proceeds will go towards the Friends of Women's Hockey Fund, which is an official fund used to spread women's hockey and do youth hockey for girls and stuff like that. So if you go on, purchase one of those things, if you go to redbubble.com and search the grind line, we will pop up. That is our shop. There's a bunch of cool stuff in there, merch, grind line t-shirts, fun stuff. We do giveaways. It's cool time. But those are my final thoughts. You can follow me online at Bringing the Wing, but you can mostly follow me online at Grindline Pod. You can find our podcast on Stitcher, on iTunes, on Spotify. We now have a YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and search the Grindline Podcast, we are there. So if YouTube's your choice, you can go subscribe to us and watch our YouTube videos. But for Ryan, I am Greg. You stay classy, Hockey Town.
Woo.